Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome to the FlyByWire Airbus A380 in Flight Simulator 2024. Before starting this video, we should point out that the aircraft is currently not officially compatible. However, I did just copy and paste it into the sim and it seems to run just fine, but just be aware that official support does not exist at this point just yet. So use it at your own risk, but today we're going to see how that risk is going to evolve for me myself. So we're in Cairo at the moment and we're going to fly the Emirates flight over to Dubai, one of the 4 daily flights that is, which is going to take us about 2 hours and 40 minutes for the 1,400 nautical mile trip, since we will have a great tailwind of around 100 knots throughout the flight. So before we get into the cockpit and start to prepare our aircraft, let's go ahead and have a quick look into the flight plan to see what we are going to be up to today. And this is our current flight, Emirates 928 from Cairo to Dubai on the Alpha 6 Echo Oscar Golf. Now, if we have a look into our route itself, we can immediately see why we have such a short trip time, almost 1 hour less than the opposite way from Dubai over to Cairo. And that's of course because we are more or less within the 115 knot jet stream for the entire flight. Apart from that though, we have good weather conditions, and that means we can go right up into the weather section, check what we have, and then decide on a fuel quantity. So our departure airport Cairo features northeasterly winds with few clouds and a temperature of 17 degrees, and our destination Dubai has southwesterly winds, clear skies, 22 degrees, and it is going to remain exactly that same way for the rest of the day. Our primary alternate, Al Maktoum International, also has more or less the same weather conditions since it's very close to Dubai anyway. But that means it's very easy to make a decision on the fuel amount to carry for us today, and if we have a look into the flight plan itself, then a couple of details. We're planned at 350.4 tons of zero fuel weight. We are going to arrive approximately 20 minutes prior to the scheduled arrival time at 12:02 compared to 12:25, which would have been our schedule. So we can take it easy on the fuel amount today. Now, going down into the fuel section then, our planned takeoff fuel is 40.1 plus 800 taxi, so 41 tons would be the standard. If we take just about a little bit more in case we have to fly a bit faster, we can see Corsair 500 gives us an additional 1,200 kilos, saves us 5 minutes of flying time. Well, not really worth it if you ask me. So we're just gonna make it 41 tons of fuel, and that is more or less the minimum fuel that we actually have to carry for a flight like this. So let's get rid of the flight plan and enter the wonderful Airbus A380. Now, something that's really worth mentioning is the aircraft performs very well in Flight Simulator 2024 in terms of its memory usage. Where we had all those issues in Flight Simulator 2020, I don't see any of those memory related issues in 2024. So just look at how easily I can walk through the cabin, don't have any performance problems at all, and the same also applies when switching between the inside and the outside models, where we used to have problems all the time in the old Flight Simulator. But alright, for now let's take a seat on the captain's seat in our Airbus A380 and prepare the aircraft for service. So we check that the engine master switches are off, the engine start selector is in the norm position, the landing gear lever is down, and the wiper selectors are off. Then all our batteries should be above 25.5 volts, and well, let's go ahead and power it up. So, external power, and we turn them on in the sequence 2, 3, 1, and 4. And that starts to power the aircraft up. In terms of flight gliding, we'll leave it as the default with the main panel floodlights turned on, and those will be the only lights that we'll have turned on for the time being. Then we can go ahead and start up our electronic flight bags, which I've done over here, import our SimBrief data for our flight plan, and then let's go over into the fuel and payload section. We'll start on the fuel section today.
Runway awareness, okay.
And we can
Meters.
simply take our SimBrief fuel over here. Well, this one says 40.9. Now the fuel truck is probably gonna load a tiny bit more, I have a feeling. Well, not that much. Alright, then we've just gotta edit it in here, which is causing those weird issues with the point of view going inside-outside as we're using the backspace key. Well, we can certainly live with that. Alright, we'll do an instant refueling over here, and then let's go over to the payload. And we are just going to use the SimBrief payload for that one as well. So, instant boarding, and we are completely full at 484 guests on board. Now, that much for our electronic flight bag and the loadout. Now let's go into the charts, and we are departing from Cairo. We can take our standard airport and parking stand charts. There are no dedicated A380 charts available over here, and there are no SIDs published, so it's going to be a radar vector departure. But we can take the radar minimum altitude chart, which can be rather useful if we just have a look at that one. Then on this chart at least you can see what your minimum altitudes are for the different sectors. Gives you a kind of good overview. Alright. So with that, our electronic flight bag is more or less done. Let's cross-check that our aircraft is fit for service. So we'll do the recall, which is hidden somewhere down here in between all those lovely buttons that we have over here. Okay. So, recall, and it looks like there is nothing in there. Then the logbook and the MEL and CDL items are checked. Aircraft configuration summary is checked. We don't have any OEBs at the moment. Well, and then let's start aligning our IRSs. That's going to be number 1, 2, and 3. Then we can run the APU fire test together with the engine fire test. That's looking good. And then APU master switch on and APU start switch on. With that, the APU starts starting up, so that we can get air conditioning going as soon as the APU avail light shows. Alright. So, from here on, we just wait for the APU to start up, and we can make good use of that time by going into SimBrief once again for the takeoff performance calculations, which we can find right over here. So, takeoff performance, A380-800, and our weight is, well, let's make 391 tons, just to be on the safe side here. And all the rest remains on auto, the weather remains on auto as well. Hit calculate, and here we go. So, limiting weight is 510 tons, by the max takeoff weight, stop margin 663 meters. Using a config 1 takeoff at 66 degrees flex temperature, and here are the takeoff speeds. So our calculations are looking good. We know that we can safely go on this runway. In the meantime, APU is available, so the APU bleed is coming on. Then let's also turn on the nav lights, so that once we do the walk around we can actually cross-check the lights as well. And then, before heading out for the walk around, we cross-check that our oxygen quantity is okay. Then we are going to have a look at the hydraulic page and cross-check the hydraulic reservoir quantity to be within limits. And then we head over to the engine page, and for that we need to start up the FADEX. Let's see if they are modeled by now. So FADEX are coming on, but looks like the oil quantity is still showing us 0. Hopefully that's something they will add in the future, as that is kind of part of the standard checks here. But we know that that is an A380-ish thing, or rather a fly-by-wire A380-ish thing, so we are not going to be too picky on that one. Alright, the speed brakes are retracted, and the flaps as well, and both agree with the levers. Then parking brake release. Let's go ahead and test the brake pressure accumulator, which we should find on, not the wheel page, but which page is it on in the A380 again? Things are sometimes a little bit weird when they are different from what you're used to. Okay, in any case, we'll just set that parking brake again. That's fine. So that is our basic checks complete, and with that we can head out for the walk around. So do follow me outside again and just have a look at how smooth everything runs over here. That's really something that I get to appreciate very, very much. Alright, so out we go. It is a little bit louder here, forgive me for that, but that's why we're usually taking our headphones with us, or at least some sort of an ear protection. So we start the walk around right down here, cross-checking the static ports, then we can walk up further to the front and just look at how massive this airplane actually is. It only really comes out when you're in first-person mode here, walking around the plane and just looking at that. So pitot and static ports are okay, the AOA vanes are okay. Let's go a couple meters backwards so that we can actually get an idea of our aircraft. Alright then, moving up the side of the plane, let's go ahead and have a look at our air conditioning inlets and our wings. On a side note over here, I am using the 4K version of the aircraft because I was a little bit afraid of performance, so I decided to download the 4K version straight away instead of fiddling with the 8K. And to be completely honest, yes, if you do a walk around in a position like we are right now, then it kinda shows, but if you're not doing that, then the 4K version, in my opinion, is absolutely more than sufficient. And if anything, it does save you a little bit of space on your hard drive. So look at that, we can't even see the lower side of the fan blades here, because the engine is hanging so incredibly high. What a large aircraft this A380 really is. I have a feeling that walk around is going to take us a little while, so we'll better hurry so that we are back on the flight deck for an on-time departure. Now, if you remember the A320 and those catering vehicles here, they would often spawn just beneath the wing, and the wing would be just about on top of it. And now look at it on the A380. By the way, worth noting, we did turn the nav lights on, but it doesn't seem like there's an actual indication over there. Maybe that is one of the limitations that we have with the aircraft in Flight Simulator 2024. Not gonna blame them, after all, it is fully experimental what we're doing over here, and we do not have any rights for support or for everything to work here. Nonetheless, not even gonna complain, because hey, it is a freeware aircraft, it's available for free for all of us, and we should really appreciate that. So, looks like the main gear is looking good, the tires are looking good, no brake wear indicator pins it seems. Probably just not modeled, let's not bother with that. And we do have a couple more tires to check. Now, I do like that little feature here though, flyby tire. Now just look at how huge of a landing gear this is. This is about the size of a 777 main landing gear, and on the A380 it's just one of so many. Alright, moving further to the back of the aircraft. Let's have a look at the leading edge of all the stabilizers. And let's just take a moment to appreciate how massive the vertical stabilizer is on this aircraft. In my opinion, you really only get the sense of how large those aircraft are when you do the walk around. Because once you fly them, they all feel kinda sporty. Except for the A330 maybe. Or even that one. But it's only when you do the walk around that you notice how large and how massive these aircraft actually are. Alright then, we got half of it done already. Don't give up just yet. We just got another, well, 10 tires to check. So, starting right back here. And to the front, and to the back again. And that is another 6 flyby tires inspected. And then let's get to the main landing gear down here. And again, the same tracks that we've already done on the other end side. Just massive, this airplane. Alright then, moving up the trailing edge of the wing. Just take a moment to look at how many fairings we have over here and what that must mean in terms of the forces required in order to move the flaps into position. Alright, the wing and the wingtip are looking good. And then the nav light on this side seems to be inoperative as well. That's fine. Alright, looking into the back of the engine. Everything's alright here, no kind of damages visible. And now imagine doing this same check, but doing it like thoroughly in the real world. You're easily going to be outside for at least some 10-15 minutes. Alright, and that's the last engine inspected. No sort of damages or anything. So that's looking really good. Alright, so last but not least, we're going to walk inbound along the leading edge of the wing over here. Cross-check any of the landing lights and any of the outlets, and that's all looking good. Well, and that's our walk-around completed, so let's get back inside. And let's just take a moment to appreciate how quiet it is in here. Alright. So, time to take a seat. Time to get our ears to recover again. And then we can slowly start our panel scan. So walking up the overhead panel, crew supplies on, and then everything is set over here. And everything looking good on this side. Flight recorder ground control coming on. Then we do have the nav lights on. Suppose we can put the logo lights into the auto position. Fasten seatbelts on. No mobile signs auto. Emergency exit lights armed. Then walking up the panel, we want the cockpit temperature to be in the middle over here. Alright, now lots of fuel pumps again, and as always in wide-body aircraft, be sure to turn the main pumps on before the standby pumps, and when you turn them off, you do it the opposite way. Okay, we've already completed the fire test, so we don't need to bother with that anymore. What do we have up here that's on? Elec, remote CB control. Yeah, okay, that shall be fine. That's probably maintenance who turned that on. Alright, and up here everything's fine. Be sure to select the PAs up here. I think that's going to be that one, so that all the PAs are actually getting recorded on the cockpit voice recorder. Alright then, moving forward to the main panel. Let's confirm our current weather conditions. And they are QNH of 1018. Like that. On the other side everything's fine, and it is the 4th of January 2025 with the clock in GPS mode. That one is rather important over here, especially if you fly aircraft that regularly go through GPS jamming areas where you might turn it into the internal mode. So always be sure to carefully cross-check that. Alright then, moving down to the pedestal, 1228, 1215 is already in here. Listen and transmit to VHF 1, also listen to VHF number 2, and the interphone can come up as well. Alright, down here everything is set, and then let's go up into the FMS. And for that I will get out my SimBrief dispatch up here as well, so that we have the flight plan available while we do our entries. Okay, let's go. So, A380-800 with the Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines, and the nav database is current. Well then, let's go on with the flight plan initialization. We're going to do a company flight plan request over here, uplinking our flight plan from SimBrief, that way we don't have to enter anything manually. Well, or at least not everything manually. Alright, received company flight plan, and insert please. Emirates 1 Romeo from Cairo to Dubai, alternate Al Maktoum, flight level 390 is correct. Cosine 50 is also correct, and the trip wind is going to be a tailwind of 100 knots. So trip wind, tail 100. Okay, the IRSs have already aligned, and they are in the nav position, and they have aligned on the GPS position, which is looking correct. Then we can go down to the departures of runway 05 center. We don't have the SID available, so we're just going to insert it like that, and we will get radar vectors thereafter. Now let's insert that temporary, and then down to our arrival into Dubai, where we're going to land on the runway 30 left. And for that one we surely have a star. So ILS approach, and the star is going to be the VUTEB 3 Charlie arrival. And we're going to arrive via Uldot, and we can insert that one in our flight plan. Now we don't need to cross-check anything here, because, well, we do not have any actual SID, making our life kinda easy. Secondary flight plan, currently not simulated, unfortunately. So let's go back to the init page, and then we can go on to the nav aids. And for that one you can see it's auto-tuned Cairo VORs, and we are going to keep that. Now let's go to the fuel and load page, where we can start with an estimated zero fuel weight of 350.4. So 350.4. The CG is unknown at the time. Block fuel 41 tons. Then taxi fuel 0.8. Now let's go down into the actual flight plan document. And in here we can see alternate fuel is going to be 5.2. And the final reserve fuel 4.9. Alright, so 484 passengers, cost NX 50, that all looks correct, and we have an extra fuel of 1.9 tons currently predicted. Perfect, then let's return and go to the takeoff performance page, where we can enter our takeoff performance based on SimBrief. So if we remember that one, we have a flap 1 takeoff at 66 degrees, flex temperature, speeds 424853. So takeoff shift is going to be 0, it will be a flex takeoff at 66 degrees, and then our takeoff speeds, as mentioned, 142, 148, 153. That was a typo, so 148 and 153. Conv 1, packs on, anti-ice off. Reduction in acceleration 1500 AGL. Transition altitude 4500. That's probably correct, but let's verify it. So what can we do then? Well, we just go to the charts pages, and down here we have a look at some of the approach charts, which can be useful in case of an immediate return anyway. So let's pin the ILS 5 right, and that one should also have the transition altitude on there, which is 4500 indeed. Okay, so 4500 is checked. Then on the climb page, we don't need to pre-select anything. We can keep all those speeds. The limit of 250 below level 100 is correct over here as well. Well, and that's it. Optimum level 400, maximum 420. We're planned on 390, which is probably due to the winds, which are stronger the lower we are. So that's all these entries complete. Then not a lot we need to do over here. Not a lot we need to do over here. So with that, our aircraft is fully prepared, and that flight plan setup is complete. So you can give me the flight plan page on the right side, the performance page on the left side, and then we can move up to our FCU. So QNH 1018, we want constraints and VORs, also want the airports and any traffic. Let's see, we don't have the SimBridge in FS 2024 it seems. Initial climb somewhere around 5000 or so, and then we can do the same setup on our colleague's side. Alright, and with that we are done setting the aircraft up initially. So I suppose with that out of the way, let's go ahead and do the departure briefing, please. Alright, thanks. So I will start with that briefing. We're departing Cairo off runway 05 center. And that's what we have in our FMS. Now for the routing, we are going via radar vectors, initial climb to 5,000 feet, and the MSA on today's departure is going to be 3,000. That'll keep us safe all the way around. Now, extra fuel and time, 1.9 tons, which equals around 15 minutes. Alright, thank you very much for that. Now, I don't see any hotspots for our taxi routing. Stop margin for ejected takeoff is around about 600 meters, and engine outset is going to be on the runway track 25 miles, climbing 4,000 feet. That keeps us nicely above the MSA. If we need to make an immediate return, we are below the maximum landing weight, so we can come back at any time. And Cairo is the best option in the area. I don't see anything that would make more sense. If the airport closes, Hurghada is available and capable of taking the A380 as well. Special operations. Well, we don't have a SID, so it's going to be radar vectors. So once we are actually on the track over here, approaching 1870, we are just going to go heading mode and then vector ourselves towards the first waypoint. I don't have any non-standards. Do you see any threats for today's departure? No? Okay. So that's our departure briefing completed. Then let's say hello to our passengers. Salam alaikum, ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Emirates, welcome aboard flight 921 towards Dubai. Today's flight time is calculated at 2.5 hours, and we expect a smooth flight at 39,000 feet, maybe some occasional light turbulence, since we are following a very strong jet stream, which is a mass of fast-moving winds, which will significantly accelerate our flight, however, has the potential to cause some turbulence along the way. I would like to thank you very much for being our guest. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Once again, thank you for your attention, and welcome aboard. Okay, so our passengers have been briefed. Then let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. Okay, gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity. That's 41,000 kilogram balanced. Barrel reference QNH 1018. And cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright, by now the performance should arrive, and we can call GSX to prepare the position for pushback and departure, please. In the meantime, let's head over into the EFB once again. So we have a zero fuel weight of 350.4, and our CG is 34.2. So 350.4 and 34.2. Okay, leads us to a growth weight CG of 35.1. So we will use that for our trim. Okay. And the rest seems correct. Alright, looks like the CG entry has actually lowered the optimum level a little bit, so 395 is the optimum now, which I am rather happy with. Okay, so that's all the basics entered. Then I suppose we can get the aircraft ready for pushback, please. So, transponder on and above. Squawk, yeah, why not? We just keep the default. That's fine for me. Okay. APU is on and running, so the ground power units get disconnected. And then let's quickly check that all the services are indeed removed, and that includes the ground power units. Alright. So, parking down here in Echo 9er, pushback into Yankee, and then taxi out via Sierra to the full length runway 05 center. Alright, before start checklist, please. So, park and brake. Set, takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 142, VR 148, V2 153, flex 66. And that's the before start checklist complete. Ground from flight deck. Go ahead. So, please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed, Captain. Roger, thank you very much. Then we are clear to push, facing east, park and brake set. Okay, facing east, release park and brakes, please. Park and brake released, and you let us know when we can start the engines, please. Roger. Okay, off block at 0929, and I think the schedule was 0910. Yeah, 0910, but with the shortened flight time, we will easily make it there on time. Perfect. All right. And here we go. So, ground flight, we are ready to start the engines in sequence. Roger that. You are clear to start the engines. Thank you very much. So, starting engines 1, 2, 3, 4 in that sequence. Right, engines 1 and 2 start. So, let's see that one in action. Or at least we should. Nothing? Huh, that's interesting. So, ignition start is selected, APU bleed is on, it's turned off the packs. Okay, well, let's turn them off again, and let's try that one more time. We do certainly have sufficient air pressure. Then let's try only engine 1. And still nothing. Okay, is there anything we might have forgotten anywhere? Not really, huh? I mean, that one shouldn't have any effect, but... no, it doesn't really look like it. Okay, well, let's try something different then. Let's see if we can start number 4, maybe. Right, you also won't come up. Well, that's fine. Let's try Control E. See if anything starts if we do it the automatic way. No? Huh. Interesting. This is not me being too dumb to operate an Airbus, right? The thrust levers are in idle where they're supposed to be. Anything else that's broken? It might just be the simple fact that we're running a development version here in a simulator that is not meant to run in. I absolutely wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. But in general, it looks to me like there is just no APU bleed available. Well, let's investigate. So, let's go onto the bleed page here for a moment. It's not drawing the lines. Okay, tell you what. Engine master's off. Let's go APU bleed off for a moment. Okay, that's correct indications. Let's go APU bleed on again. I'm not sure if there should be some lines over here. Certainly looks like it. Well, maybe it works now. Let's just try that again. So ignition start is selected. And then engines 1 and 2. Okay, here we go. Now they're starting. I really don't know why that happened, but looks like turning it off and on again has helped. Just like in the real plane. Alright, so push complete, set brakes. And the brakes are set. Now that was really interesting. I have no idea why that happened. I'll just put it down as an FS24 issue. The good thing is nobody questions anything when I say anything is an issue in Flight Simulator 24. Even though the sim does run pretty fine by now. But I think the impression from the first couple of days still sticks with the people. Right, starting numbers 3 and 4. And that looks like N2 is rotating faster than N3, which of course shouldn't happen, since N3 is the one where the starter is attached to. N3 is the inner spool, then N2 is the middle one, and then you have N1, which is the outer one, or the low pressure one, where the fan is also attached to. Okay, so we have 4 good starts. You're clear to disconnect. Show me the clear signal on the left side with a pin, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. And here we go. All 4 engines are available. The ramp agent is walking away. Well then, after start procedures. Okay, and then we gotta trim it, 35%. Takes a little while in this airplane. Here we go. Very good. After start checklist, please. So, anti-ice, off, after start checklist complete. Okay, clear on the left side, and clear on the right side. Parking brake released, off we go. Taxis nicely in idle. Brake check. Pressure 0. So, let's add a tiny bit of thrust. Our taxi routing straight ahead, then off to the right hand side. Let's see if we can turn the OANS on. Yes, we can. Wonderful. So, as always in large aircraft, the speed might be rather hard to judge from up in the flight deck, so be sure to have a good look at the ground speed indication on your nav display. A little bit of oversteering technique since it is a large aircraft. And here we go. Wonderful! I didn't forget how to taxi it. That's something already. So, I have no updates to the takeoff briefing. Do you have anything? No? Okay. So, you are set, then we can turn that transponder on. And the TCAS as well. Okay, flight control track. We should have done that before arming the auto brake. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. So the pedal disconnect button isn't modeled. In that case, I will not bother touching the... In that case, I will just not bother touching the rudder now. We already know that the plane is going through turns, so that's all I need. Okay, taxi checklist, please. So, flight controls. Checked. Flap setting, conf 1 plus F, radar, on, taxi checklist complete. It's really impressive. It is such a large aircraft, yet I find it very easy to taxi. Says the guy who just overshot a turn. I know. With the largest aircraft in the world. Alright, so we are clear on the approach. Nothing over there.
Approaching 0, I, center.
Intentionally. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Okay, lineup checklist, please. And we will just stop it right on the runway here.
On runway 0, I, center.
Checked. Okay, lineup checklist. So, takeoff runway 05 center, cabin crew, advised, packs 1 and 2, on. Lineup checklist, complete. Okay, ready? Takeoff. Man flight 66, SAS runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set, checked. .100 knots, checked. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. So, very nice initial pitch here at around 12.5 degrees. Full heading. Heading. Autopilot 1. Okay, and here we go. Accelerating. Thrust climb, open climb, auto thrust. The packs are on already. Those are nothing to worry about. Okay, flaps 0. Speed checked. Flaps 0. So, I don't think there is an after takeoff checklist anymore. And let's do a right hand turn, heading 100. Quick check to be sure I didn't miss an after takeoff checklist. No, I didn't. Perfect. Right, and make that heading 110, please. Beautiful aircraft. Is that standard? Standard cross check, passing flight level 5-3 now. Checked. So we'll just stay on that heading. We'll probably fly a little bit past Manly and then eventually take ourselves a shortcut anywhere over here. Approaching a couple of clouds. Well, outside temperature plus 20. We certainly don't need any anti-ice with that. Optimum flight level is now 390. It's come down a little bit from what we had indicated on the ground. But that's fine. Okay, so continue climb, flight level 200, and then we can enjoy the scenery a little bit. Unfortunately, no pyramids for us to see today, as they would have been on the other side of the city. Beautiful look outside. And, worth mentioning, it seems like they fixed the excessive climb performance that the earlier versions of the aircraft had. Look at that, 2,800 feet a minute. Looks very, very good to me. And just look at the fuel flow down here. That is rather excessive if you ask me. I like it though. Right, let's fly direct to Bhutar. So, direct, Bhutar, insert. Nav, climb, and passing 10,000. So, landing lights off. We will wait a few moments with the seatbelts until we are clear of the clouds. Then our EFIS is set. Ecom is checked, nav aids. We didn't tune any of them manually, so there is nothing to clear for us over here. Then our optimum is 390 with a maximum at 410, so 390 it is. Do keep in mind, the optimum in the Airbus does take into account your wind. Therefore, just go as close to this as possible. Now, I'm not 100% sure if the fly-by-wire takes the winds into account, but nonetheless, 390 it is, since that is what SimReef says as well. Alright, and we are clear of the clouds. Now look at that. 2,300 feet a minute, 5 degrees pitch, wonderful. That's exactly what we want to see. So, fasten belts auto. And then, everything is set everywhere. So, let's go ahead and make our way towards Dubai, enjoy the wonderful views outside throughout the flight, and then I catch you all as we start the approach preparation. And we got flight level 390 blue. I'm just surprised we don't get an all cruise blue, but so be it, maybe that's an A380 thing. Alright, see you a little bit later. around 100 miles to the top of descent. We're doing a superb ground speed here of 613 knots, and I tend to say that's a very good point to start our approach preparation for Dubai. So let's go ahead and grab the arrival charts, and then we can soon go for our Asus as well, as we're getting into range for Dubai. The general arrival Asus is on 126275, so let's see if we can already receive it. And indeed, we've just received a contact me on 127525, so let's go ahead and give him a call.
Emirates 198, stop departure, right turn heading 350 degrees, hit left takeoff runway 30 right, surface wind 320 degrees at 15.
30 right, left takeoff and off departure right 350, Emirates 100.
Bahrain control, Emirates 1 Romeo Super, flight level 390, position ASPAC.
Emirates 1 Romeo, good afternoon, Bahrain radar squawk 2234.
Squawk 2234, Emirates 1 Romeo. So, squawk 2234. And then, let's see if the Asus is now in range.
International Airport arrival Bravo, at time 1100 Zulu, expect ILS approaches, arrival runway 30 left, surface wind 290 at 8, wind variable between 210 and 350, visual cap OK, temperature 23, viewpoint 2.5, QN8 1020, HTA, advise aircraft type on first contact. Enhanced wave turbulence separation in force. NNM runway occupancy required. Water time transponder code until on stand. Caution possible glide slope flood. Advise ATC Cottage Bravo. Advise on the
Emirates 198, Bahrain radar identified passing 2,000 feet considering climbing level 23.
Okay, so 23 degrees, QNH 1020, and the wind...
Climb 230 and direct Sodak, Emirates 100.
is 300 at
Emirates
9.
490, I need to make a massive Sodak now.
Calling Sodak and Emirates 100.
Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead and find the approach chart. So for the arrivals, we're looking at the VUTEP 1 Charlie arrival.
Emirates 1 Romeo descent level 310 level 5 Throttle.
Emirates 1 Romeo descent flight level 310, and we'll be unable to reach that at Tonso.
Roger.
Right, thrust idle descent out, flight level 310 blue, and yeah, we can't cover 8,000 feet within those 18 miles, not with 120 knot tailwind. So yeah, just had to tell him unable to really do that. He can now sort it with the next controller. And yeah, that's all you can do over here. Okay, VUTEP 3 Charlie, ILS approach, 30 left, and let's pin that one as well, and then finally... So, code Foxtrot taxi chart, that's the A380. And then we can grab...
Apologies, I just realized I was in heading.
Let's see if there are any gates on here. Yes, there are.
Climbing massive Sodak, Emirates.
Perfect, so that's all we need. So let's get to the pin charts, edit, and remove all those Cairo charts, which we surely don't need anymore. Did I just sack all of them? Okay. Yeah, that's what you get for flying with me. Well, we needed that one. Then we need the ILS approach. And last but not least, the star. Here we go, that's better.
Emirates 1 Romeo, contact UAE radar 132.150.
132.150, Emirates 1 Romeo.
Clear established. Emirates uniform, continue approach, you'll be coming number 1.
Number 1 on the approach, Emirates 3 and from Turkey.
Emirates uniform, the wind west 88.
Okay, speed all star. Come on, slow that radar descent, please. Okay, not a lot we can do now. UAE radar, salam alaikum, Emirates 1 Romeo Super, flight level 317, descending 310.
Emirates 1 uniform, salam, you're landing 30 left, boot head 3 Charlie, when ready, descent 1 to 12,000 feet, level boot head, your next 1020.
I confirm that's Emirates 1 Romeo. VTAP 3 Charlie, 30 left, when ready, 2000 level at VTAP, I'm QNH 1020.
Emirates 1 Romeo, correct. Emirates 1 4 X-ray direct.
Okay, perfect.
Victor Alpha, Victor India Mike.
So then, we can turn the takeoff onto below. Should have done that a bit earlier.
For Emirates 1 Broadcast.
For the flight plan VTAP in level 120, that's what we have over here. And of course that is going to be local QNH, but that doesn't show over here just about yet. Alright then, so onto the performance, and then we can check our descent, Mach number and airspeed looking good. Everything over here is looking good, and we now can go for the... Come on. Here we go.
Emirates uniform 30 left, vacate kilo 8, you clear land, wind 290 degrees 8 knots.
So minimum's 260.
Emirates 77 Foxtrot ground 11835, yeah. There's Entry 7014 identified, climb under.
Here we go.
240.
Alright, perfect. So that's all our setup completed. Then, are you ready for the approach briefing? Alright, you can start please. So we got an MSA 3000 that keeps us safe except over the buildings. Over the city it's 4000. Now the arrival is going to be the VTAP 3 Charlie arrival, and we land on the ILS approach runway 30 left. The minimum is 260 feet. In case of go around, straight at climbing 3000. Now I don't have any specials, and the remaining fuel and time. Let's see what we've got over here. Yeah, it isn't really calculated, but we're just about doing fine. Okay. So then, for our approach, we are going to use flight director guidance, manual approach, manual thrust, and we vacate the runway to the left using maximum reverse, and we will use brake to vacate in order to make the exit. I don't have any specials, and I have no non-standards. Any threats for the arrival? I don't think so. Perfect, so that's our briefing completed. Now, as mentioned, we are going to go for... a brake to vacate, so let's go ahead and select that. So, Dubai, display airport. Here we go, so we can take the first available exit. I think Kilo 8 is going to suit us just about fine, so... Landing on 30 left, it should be. If it lets us, that is. Okay, 30 left. Come on, give me that runway. Here we go. So 30 left, and then Kilo 8 is going to be our exit. And BTV is selected. So 1930 meters of runway, and yeah, around about 2.5 hours turnaround. That's going to be fine.
Uniform contact ground 118.
Perfect.
135.
Okay, let's take the opportunity to say bye-bye to our guests, and then we can start our descent. Dear guests from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We will start our descent towards Dubai in the next couple of moments, and we have a remaining flight time of approximately half an hour. The weather in Dubai at the moment, 23 degrees with a light wind. Thank you very much for being our guests today. We hope that you have enjoyed your flight, and we look forward to welcoming you again on board of a future airline service. Thank you so much. We wish you a nice and safe onwards journey, and hope to see you all again soon. Alrighty, so then, top of descent in 7 miles. In other words, we can just about go ahead and start the descent now already. So 12,000. Speed descent alt, flight level 120 blue. Set QNH. QNH 1020 cross check, passing 31,100 now. Checked. Alright. Then I'll see you a little bit further down the line. What an awesome view of the town slowly coming into view. So let's take a seat back on the captain's seat here and leave that GoPro position. We're cleared down to 8,000 and we are gonna reach those in a couple of moments, and eventually we'll get radar vectors onto the final approach for 30 left. Lovely view out at the city over here. But for the time being, we also have a little bit of work to do, so let's go ahead and read the approach checklist, please.
909, pass message.
So, Baro reference, QNH 1020, minimum, Baro 260, auto brake, BTV, approach checklist complete. Hold start. Okay, so the next speed restriction is going to be 210 knots over at padded, and we'll see if the aircraft is actually going to do that. Now, I did notice a bit earlier on that the aircraft did not have any speed restriction included in the arrival. That's what I get for not checking it thoroughly. I guess I got a little bit over-reliant there. However, I have re-entered the 210 knot restriction and padded, and we'll see in a few moments if the target speed actually reduces. If not, 2 miles prior to padded, I will select speed 210 manually. So, target speed down towards 210 knots. Let's see if the aircraft is still gonna change the managed speed target or not.
Emirates 724 descend 4,000 feet.
Looks like it doesn't. Well,
Emirates 1 Romeo descend 6,000 feet.
Emirates 1 Romeo descend 6,000 feet. Thrust oil open descent out 6,000 blue. Checked. Alright, so quick look at the star chart to see if there are any other speed restriction we should have had over here. So, the next one would be something over at that Delta Bravo point. I doubt that we are even going to fly that far. So 185 at Delta Bravo 508. Well, we might just quickly insert that anyway. So 508, and we can insert 185 into here. So temporary insert. Looks good.
Station calling to again.
Radar Air India 909 airborne runway 30 right, passing 1000.
Air India 909, g'day, climb flight level 220 unrestricted, direct to Navex.
So, airport down there, city above there. It's looking great.
Emirates 1 Romeo descend altitude 4,000 feet.
Emirates 1 Romeo descend altitude 4,000 feet. 4,000 blue. Alright, looking pretty good. Let's take a quick look outside here as well. So, the sun is already coming down.
Air India 909, no speed, direct to Holston.
Air India 909, stay again.
Air India 909, free speed, direct Polsner.
Alright, I'm not 100% sure where they're going to turn us onto the base, so...
Air India 909.
Let's see.
Emirates 724, reduce speed.
I have a feeling we're going to turn base somewhere around here, around Satpo.
Emirates 1 Romeo, base 10 within 10 miles, descent to
Yep.
altitude 2,000 feet.
Emirates 1 Romeo, descent altitude 3,000 feet. 3,000 blue. Alright, so he's thinking along, very good. So within 10 miles, so somewhere around here. I think our altitude is doing just about fine then. And bring up the ILS on standby as
Emirates
well.
1 Romeo, speed 230 knots or greater.
Emirates 1 Romeo, 230 knots operator.
Emirates 205, descent to altitude 8,000.
Okay, speed 230.
8,000 feet, Emirates 205.
Now we got to keep an eye on the rate of descent here, since we only have 2,000 feet to go. Okay, there comes another aircraft. He will turn us in before him, I suppose.
Emirates 319 Papa with you and flight level
209 Papa, good day, imped
Speed, vertical speed.
30 left, walk 6054.
6054 and 3 Charlie, 3 left.
Emirates 724, speed 210
1,000 to go.
Hold on to clear the ILS runway 30 left, report established.
210 knots from Hold on, cleared ILS on 30 left, will go Emirates 724.
Emirates 1 Romeo, descend 2,000 feet, turn right heading 210, speed 210 knots.
Emirates 1 Romeo, descent 2,000 feet, turn right heading 210, speed 210 knots. Okay, set 2,000 checked, and then heading 210, speed 210.
Direct imped when ready.
Might have to help it a little bit here. Let's get some speed brake out. And activate approach phase.
When ready to turn 10,000 feet, low brake.
And confirm.
Emirates 724, speed 190 knots.
190.
Okay, speed brake retract, then the autopilot should come back on again. Come on. Yeah, look at that. Autopilot is not coming back on. Okay, well that's interesting now.
Emirates 1 Romeo, further right heading 270, cleared ILS runway 30 left, once established, speed 160 to 5.
Emirates 1 Romeo, right heading 270, cleared ILS 30 left, when established, 160 to 5.
Emirates 724, speed 180 to 10.
Okay, autopilot 2 works fine.
Number 2 to left.
Let's try number 1.
180 to 10, 160
Okay, both work fine.
Receiving traffic inside, Emirates 724.
So he said when established, we reduce the speed, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, Logstar.
Delta 58 Bravo, confirm your stand number.
Stand number 604, ATS Bravo.
Delta 58 Bravo, push and start approved face to the northeast, the QNH is...
I'm waiting for Altstar. Once that comes online, we'll manage the speed.
Push and start approved, facing northeast, ATS Bravo.
Okay, manage speed, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Altstar. Okay, let's help it a bit. Gear down. Lock.
Emirates 1 Romeo, vacate Kilo 8, runway 30 left, clear land, wind 300 degrees 9 knots.
Emirates 1 Romeo, vacate Kilo 8, 30 left, clear to land. Alright, flaps 2. Speed checked. Flaps 2.
This Emirates 14 X-ray, you happy for me to go over to Unicom now?
Flaps 3.
Who's calling?
Speed checked. Flap 3.
Emirates 14 X-ray.
And flaps 4. Speed checked. Flaps 4.
Apologies, it should have been handed to Unicom a while ago. I was just away
Alright.
for a second, so I believe the other controllers to look back. Unicom 1.
Absolutely no problem.
Go around altitude 3000 set, and landing checklist please. Landing checklist complete.
1008 with you, flight level 210.
Okay, perfect, here we are.
G'day Captain, walk ident, it's a VUTEP 3.
Now it would be lovely to have an autopilot disconnect button simulated, because otherwise we gotta do it the dirty way which I don't really want to do, but I guess I have no choice.
30 left, VTEP 3 Charlie, well, out there, about 108.
Yeah, go quiet, please. Thanks. Cat 1.
Qatari 988, direct library.
Direct library.
Checked.
988.
Qatari 1008, you're identified. Report ready for descent. Expect to boot head 12,000.
Alright, I tend to say that was a pretty good approach so far. About as fast as we could possibly go. Let's see where the aircraft behind us is, just out of interest.
Descend 8,000 feet and
Don't even have them on TCAS at all anymore. Oh, that's fine.
Approaching 30 left.
Intentionally.
724, thanks. Continue approach. The wind northwesterly at 9.
Continue approach here at 724.
Okay, wind northwest at 9, so it is going to turn a little bit to the right.
Air India 909 approved. Report back.
Land. Check. Continue. So, small side stick inputs only.
requesting 2-minute ASK.
Wonderful.
Emirates 319 Papa approved. Report back.
Okay, BTV. Spoilers, reverse green. And it's not the first, but the second rapid exit taxiway. knots. Oh boy, it just keeps rolling and rolling. Tell you what, manual brakes.
Remaining.
We might need a little bit of power even to make the exit at a decent speed. Emirates 1 Romeo vacating, parking Alpha 7.
Emirates 1 Romeo, thanks. Continue Kilo Juliet, hold short of Zulu, ground 11835.
Kilo Juliet, hold short Zulu, and say again frequency?
Emirates 72430 left, clear land, vacate Kilo 8, the wind 300 at 9.
Clear land, 32 left, vacate Kilo 8, Emirates 724.
Emirates 1 Romeo, ground 11835.
11835, Emirates 1 Romeo, thank you.
Cheers.
Yep, we definitely had to get off that runway. Ground Salam Alaikum, Emirates 1 Romeo Super, holding short Zulu, parking Alpha 7.
Emirates 1 Romeo, Dubai 1 hello taxi left, Zulu, stand Alpha 7.
Left on Zulu, stand Alpha 7, Emirates 1 Romeo. Okay, perfect.
I know your voice from YouTube videos.
Thank you so much. Alright, and there is the other guy. That's the reason why we had to get off the runway so quickly, and why he gave the landing clearance before we got our taxi clearance. Okay, runway is vacated, then let's do the after landing items.
Emirates 3 Echo taxi Zulu hold Kilo.
I could do the whole Kilo reference 3 Echo.
37 Romeo is fully ready for push and start.
Alright, after landing checklist.
7 Romeo, stand by callback.
Oh, we don't have any. Okay, makes it even easier. And of course, Alpha 7 is the stand where they parked in the real world, and if there is a single stand where there is a static aircraft on, it is of course Alpha 7. We'll go into Alpha 6 then.
Adil 508, continue Lima 3, right Mike, hold your point, Mike Hotel for runway feasible right.
So, Alpha 6, and it is certainly
Okay,
not
please
too
repeat
small.
Continue Lima 3, right Mike, holding point, Mike 20.
Alright, lights off.
Continue Lima 3 to Mike and then Mike 13 Alpha Adil 508.
Alright. So, a little bit of power to keep the airplane moving here. Alright, A380-800 is on the docking system. Alright, nice and slow, and then here we are. Okay. Park brake set. APU bleed on and shut down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, engines are running down, then beacon off. Doors are disarmed. And now comes the big challenge of turning off all those fuel pumps. Nope, not you. Standby before main, that is important when turning them off, so that the standby pump doesn't activate when the main pump is turned off. Alright. And then let's do the parking checklist, please. Park and brake our trucks, brake set, wing light, off, parking checklist complete. Alright, my friend. We have made it! Welcome to Dubai! I sure hope that you have enjoyed this flight. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments below, and as always, if you liked the video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one. If you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I see you again on the next one.